Good morning, everybody. Apologize for the late start. We're here for the October meeting of the MTA Board. Let's begin with public speakers. Mr. Morello, are there any public speakers?
We have 5 public speakers. We would ask you to keep your remarks to the 2-minute limit. You'll hear the signals go off as you approach the end if you're allotted time. The first speaker is Robert Cohen. He will be followed by George McNamara. Mr. Cohen?
Good morning. My name is Robert Cohn. I lived at 36th Street between Park and Madison for 40 years, which is a little less than half my life. I'd like to bring to your attention several things that are affecting quality of life in Murray Hill, and I hope you all know where Murray Hill is, just south of here. We seem to have the MTA buses coming through our streets, which are very narrow, and they're laying over on our streets, 35th, 37th. They're laying over on 2nd Avenue in your SBS bus lane, and they're really causing havoc with our historic district, which is between Lexington and Madison, Lexington Park. And we would hope that you'd be able to have them go through 34th Street, since you already control 34th Street with your 34 and 34A. Also, you have SBS cameras on 2nd Avenue. You have one at 46th Street, where I got a ticket at 6:58:56 and was found guilty and had to pay a $140 fine when the bus doesn't run after 6:53 up to 7:01. So I didn't interfere with any bus because there was no bus coming. Then I got another one, and I don't ride in bus lanes. I worked for DOT on and off for 22 years and was hired by Michael Horanachano in 1988. And there shouldn't be a camera on 34th Street either at 35th Street because the traffic agents don't allow you to make the right turn onto 34th Street. And I got one on Christmas Eve when I got a letter from the commanding officer of that unit saying that we have people stationed there. And since I go there all the time, I know I can't turn there. And for me to get to 36th Street with 33rd closed would mean I'd have to go all the way to 31st Street, which I just don't do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Mr. McNamara, to be followed by Priscilla Reed. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Pendergast and Board. My name is George McAnanima. I worked for New York City Transit for 27 years. I remember when Tom came on the job back in the 80s. And then I spent another 4 years with the Transport Workers Union Local 100, and I've spoken to this board before. But what disturbs me now, I'm here on behalf of concerned families of Westchester. We dealt with this issue 2 years ago about the Islamophobia ads that are posted on MTA property by Pamela Galler and her group. And we like the idea of having a mass transit in our neighborhood. We love the River Towns is the group that I represent, the Concerned Families of Westchester. But we think that this is more hate being spewed into the air. And I know that you have budget concerns and that money is an issue and free speech is another issue. But last Friday I was traveling with my 2 young grandchildren on the number 1 train, and right before that I had heard about these ads. I had seen one on the back of a bus, and I'm pretty disturbed as how am I going to explain this to my grandchildren in a few years when they're able to read on their own. And spewing this kind of hate is an abomination for sure, but we also want to guarantee free speech. So one alternative might be to run disclaimers or counter ads rejecting the hate speech, vilifying Muslims and Islam. This would be a well thought out campaign, should be a well thought out campaign to counter hate speech wherever it arises on MTA property. There are examples of other transit systems, how they have handled hate. So this cannot be allowed to go unchallenged. Please, members of the board, seriously consider your riding customers, my grandchildren, and see that our system is kept free of this. If not, that there is disclaimers issued or counter ads issued for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McAnanama. Priscilla Reed, and then Chloe Breyer.
Good morning. I'm here representing the Westchester Coalition Against Islamophobia. Westchester has the dubious distinction of being the first place in the area in which Pamela Geller placed her ads back in August 2012. At the time, an ad hoc coalition organized to attempt to counter these ads. The coalition I represent today is an outgrowth of that original coalition. It's a group of concerned citizens who have come together to fight discrimination and prejudice against Muslims and Islam and to defend Muslim civil rights. We are not calling for censorship of the ads. We are calling for countering hate speech with reasoned speech. We call on the MTA to take specific proactive steps to not only distance itself from these ads, but denounce these ads in a very public way, and to make the budgetary decisions necessary to let this happen. I am aware that in San Francisco, the public transport system placed ads immediately next to Geller's ads, denouncing them, calling them what they are, hate speech, and used the funds that it earned from the advertising of Geller's ads to finance counter ads. I'd like simply to remind you of the words of the German pastor who stood up against Hitler and suffered for it during World War II. When they came for the communists, I wasn't a communist, so I didn't stand up. When they came for the socialists, I wasn't a socialist, so I didn't stand up. When they came for the Jews, I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't stand up. When they came for me, there was no one left to stand up. What I'm suggesting is that we have a duty as people of conscience to stand up against these ads, but we also, it is in our self-interest. The next time these could be turned against any one of us. So I call on the MTA to assume a moral position here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chloe Breyer, and then John Moscow.
Good morning. I come to you representing the Interfaith Center of New York that works with hundreds of faith leaders of different traditions from around the city, just to join the growing chorus of people who are concerned about these Pamela Geller anti-Islamophobic ads, and to say that we challenge or call on the MTA to exercise a leadership with imagination. And the work that BART did to finance counter ads was a good one. I'm sure it was administratively very difficult and tricky, and no doubt there are many good reasons as to why the board is not, it's difficult to do this sort of work because it works outside of a streamlined bureaucracy, but we think it's an important enough issue that acts of imagination come into play, and something that both respects our constitutional First Amendment rights on the one hand and holds us accountable for community on the other, is something that we ask your leadership to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moscow. Be followed by our final speaker, Enrique Colon.
Good morning. My name is John Moscow. I'm speaking on behalf of JFRIJ, Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, a 25-year-old organization whose mission is to pursue racial and economic justice in New York City by advancing systemic changes that result in concrete improvement in people's daily lives. JFRIJ has been actively fighting Islamophobia for at least the last 13 years, currently through our Anti-Islamophobia Working Group and our participation in the Jews Against Islamophobia Coalition. I'm here to support the October 24th letter to Mr. Prendergast on letterhead of the Interfaith Center of New York, which Reverend Breyer was just speaking to, and signed by 17 organizations, including JFridge, with more organizations continuing to sign on after it was sent. I want to speak particularly to the letter's second point, requesting very specifically that when the MTA receives proposed advertising that it believes violates its protocols but is required by law to post, the MTA use funds from these ads to have the New York State Human Rights Commission create and post countervailing signs on behalf of the MTA to be posted as closely to the hate ads as possible. This policy has a precedent in the actions taken by the San Francisco Municipal Transit Agency, MUNI, when it was compelled to post Geller's ads referring to Arabs and Muslims as savages. MUNI posted adjacent ads of equal size with an arrow pointing to the Geller ads, stating MUNI's policy prohibiting discrimination, and adding that it quotes condemns statements that describe any group as savages. The MUNI used the Geller ad money to finance these counter ads. As human beings, we're disgusted by Geller's ads. As Jews, we're particularly outraged that the ads seek to create enmity between Jews and Muslims. We ask the MTA to take leadership in denouncing hatred and contributing to an inclusive New York. As San Franciscans showed, using bigots' money to finance statements of inclusion is particularly powerful. There are no doubt details to work out, but the critical factor is will. We ask the MTA to demonstrate that will. And I did bring copies for distribution to your members. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moscow. Enrique Colon.
Good morning, Board. My name is Enrique Colon. I'm a member of the South Bronx Community Congress, and I'm here to speak about elevators that we need reinstalled at the East 149th Street Grand Concourse train station. The South Bronx Community Congress, along with the local community in the Bronx, have been advocating for the reinstallation of elevators at the East 149th Street and Grand Concourse train station for over 2 years now. This station is where the 2, 4, and 5 trains converge. In 2012, we collected 750 petition signatures. In 2014, we collected another 1,902 petitions, which were mainly gathered online, and there were others that were collected at rallies/press conferences in front of the station. This community had elevator service at the station over 30 years ago. Since then, it has been neglected for decades. Seniors, disabled persons, including veterans, parents with small children, and pregnant women are continually suffering due to the lack of elevator services. Why has this key train station hub in the South Bronx been neglected for so long? Thousands of people travel through the station every day. There are many institutions, businesses, and multi-dwelling developments that utilize the station, including Hostos Community College, Lincoln Medical Hospital, Pergones Theater, the famous Giovanni's Restaurant, the 149th Street Grand Central General Post Office, and the Michelangelo Apartments, which houses 494 residents, just to name a few. The community is demanding that the MTA prioritize the elevators needed at the 149th Street Grand Concourse train station in their next 5-year capital budget plan, and includes it in this round or the next round of the 100 key stations that are being made ADA accessible. We ask the MTA Board to support us with this effort and to allocate the proper monies needed to make this project a reality. The community also wants to work with you to create an advisory board that will help with the design and implementation process. We thank you for your time and your consideration on this very important matter to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Colon.
I have copies for everyone and one for Mr. Pendergrass.
Thank you. That concludes the public comment, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Morello. I'd like to start today with a tribute to Bill Ronan, the first MTA chairman, who died this month at 101 years of age. Bill was appointed chairman in 1965 when the MTA was created by then New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller. During his tenure, the MTA embarked on a number of ambitious capital projects like new subway lines in Queens and the 2nd Avenue subway, which is under construction right now. And thanks to his forward thinking, nearly 40 years later, we are close to having that first phase of the 2nd Avenue subway complete. As MTA chair and later as head of the Port Authority, Bill was key to the expansion of transit options within the region. He was a legend in the public transportation field and an inspiration to everyone who understands that mass transit is the engine that powers the city of New York. We send our deepest condolences to his family and remember his service fondly. And now I'd like to ask for a moment of silence in his honor. Thank you. Next, I want to talk about an extraordinary member of the MTA family who's here with us today. His name is Dave Tooley. Dave works as an electrician in Metro North's power department, and last month he was driving to work in the morning and he saw a two-story home on fire. He immediately sprang into action. He pulled over, ran inside, started banging on doors and yelling for people to get out. He found an elderly woman in bed, picked her up, and quickly escorted her out of the building. But Dave didn't just save one life that day. The house was a social service residence with 10 people inside and a 2-month-old baby. All of them got out safely because they heard Dave Tooley banging and knocking on doors and telling people to leave. After the fire department came, Dave quietly slipped away and reported to work. He wanted to remain anonymous, but his wife posted the story on Facebook. That was lucky for us because we can now acknowledge this hero in our midst and give him the recognition he deserves. As a small token of our appreciation, I'd like to present him with this award, inscribed with his name in recognition of the bravery and unselfish actions in the face of extreme danger. Dave, would you please come forward and accept the award?
Thank you, board members. It's an honor. It is an honor. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes.
You get a picture?
This way, sir. You're so tall.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Dave is hardly the only hero working among us. Early this month, 4 NYPD officers, Ryan Gargan, Erica Malav, Thomas Clark, and Christopher Britton, saved the woman from certain death on the Metro North tracks in the Bronx. The officers saw the distraught woman running toward an oncoming train, and just like Dave Tooley, they didn't hesitate. 2 of them scaled the barbed wire fence and crossed live tracks to get her. One used a flashlight to alert the engineer to slow down, and when she was safe, all 4 brought the woman over the fence to a waiting ambulance. We owe these officers a tremendous debt of gratitude, and on behalf of our entire organization, I want to thank them for saving lives and boldly and bravely stepping up to protect New Yorkers. Busy chairman remarks this month. Next, I want to make sure that you've all heard that we've hired a new chief safety officer for the MTA. We've hired the former managing director of the National Transportation Safety Board, Mr. David Mayer. We created this position to reinforce safety as the top priority for all MTA agencies. And as we continue to improve the work practices, invest in new technology and equipment, and assure that the agencies have the resources they need and are focused in the right direction, we welcome Dave to this role. His experience with the NTSB and his exceptional work on safety projects covering all modes of transportation truly make him distinguished and unique. He'll start on December 1st and report directly to me. The chief safety officers from every operating agency will continue reporting to their agency presidents, and as I've said before, the accountability for safety at each of the agencies resides in the chief executive officers of those agencies, the presidents. The idea that each and every agency president is ultimately responsible for safety is one that we've reinforced with the safety officers reporting to them, and the role that David will play is to make sure that they have the resources and direction they need to be able to get to the level we want to get to. Welcome David aboard. Sandyversary. Now I'd like to talk about everything we're doing to fix and fortify our network. 2 years ago, yesterday, I believe, was the anniversary of Sandy, or today, and 110 years ago, Monday, was the first opening of the IRT, New York City Transit. 2 defining moments in the MTA's history and predecessor agencies. One was the onset of the transportation network we now know. The second was the most debilitating event that the system in the region saw in terms of Sandy. And while the memory of that day may have faded, we have a responsibility as stewards of the asset to make sure that we're doing everything we can to minimize the effect of storms as they come into the region, and as we know they will do in the future. Sandy did also prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the MTA is essential to the network, it's essential to the region, and it's essential to the economy of New York. Without MTA in place, New York came to a standstill on the day after Sandy. We've never been challenged like that before, and to quickly restore service and add alternate services is a challenge we met, and we met very well. We also made a commitment to do the restoration work as quickly and efficiently as possible. The restoration of the Montague Street Tunnel, Steinway Tube, which is work is completely done, and Greenpoint Tube are examples, but there's yet much more work to do to build back better, make it stronger, and make it more resilient. And of course, that's on top of the daily responsibility we have to deliver the services to the 8.7 million customers we have. So in recognitions of this year's two-year Sandyversary, I'd like to run through some quick highlights. We reopened A-train service to the Rockaways within months after the storm. We reopened the Montague Street Tunnel last month under budget and 3 weeks ahead of schedule. We reopened the Greenpoint Tunnel between Brooklyn and Queens to restore regular G-train service. And we didn't just fix everything that was damaged by Sandy, we built it back better and stronger. We're rebuilding the South Ferry Station and the Steinway Tunnel, and we're sealing up more than 500 points of access of water into the system in Lower Manhattan. I could go on and on, but I'll stop there for now. The point is, 2 years after Sandy, while we've made appreciable progress in restoring the system, we still have a long ways to go. And we need to make sure we're prepared for big storms in the future, which we will be. Sandy is just one more reason why, more than before, we need a fully funded capital program. The same capital program we brought forward to the board last month for approval and submission to the Capital Program Review Board. It's our best path forward, our only path forward, and beyond restoration, beyond long-term repair, all the way to a superstorm-ready transit network for the state of New York and the city of New York. So the state of New York and the city of New York. The minutes of September's meeting have been distributed to all members. Are there any corrections or omissions? Or if not, may I have may I have a motion to approve the minutes? Second. Any comments? All in favor? Aye. Aye. The first report is from Mr. Andrew Saul, who chairs our Finance Committee. Andrew?
Okay, Tom, the Finance Committee met this month and reports the following. There was one action item on the agenda for board approval. The action item approves the MTA headquarters financial institution and energy supplier responsibility guidelines. The committee recommends this action item, and I move it.
Any discussion or comments? All in favor?
Aye. There are two procurement actions this month in total amount of $4.4 million. The procurement to Marsh USA Incorporated on page 65 of the board book will not be presented for approval at this meeting. There are no non-competitive procurements. There are two competitive procurements in the amount of $4.4 million. The committee recommends these procurements, and I move them.
Second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye. There are no ratifications. There are three real estate action items which are described on pages 66 through 70 in the board book distributed for this meeting. The committee recommends these real estate items, and I move them.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
Tom, that concludes the finance report.
I have a report from Mr. Ferrer on the Transit and Bus Committee.
Mr. Chairman, the Transit and Bus Committee met on Monday and reports the following. There is one action item for board approval. The action item approves commencing the process for the promulgation of rules and regulations governing conduct and safety of the public in the facilities and on the buses of the MTA Bus Company. The committee recommends this action item, and I move it.
Any comments or questions? Mr. Murdler.
It's my understanding this item will come back to us after the process has been completed. With that in mind, I will vote for it. Otherwise, I would vote against it.
I'm affirming his statement that it will come back to the board? Okay, fine. All in favor?
Aye. There are 12 procurement actions this month in the total amount of $88.5 million. The vacuum train procurement to NEU International Railways on pages 95 through 97 of the board book will not be presented for approval at this meeting. There is one non-competitive procurement for the MTA New York City Transit in the amount of $3 million. The committee recommends these procurements, and I move them.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
There are 6 competitive procurements in the total amount of $50.5 million. 4 procurements are for New York City Transit in the amount of $46.7 million, and 2 for MTA Capital Construction in the amount of $3.8 million. The committee recommends these procurements, and I move them.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
And there are 5 ratifications in the total amount of $35 million. 4 ratifications are for New York City Transit in the amount of $33.8 million, and 1 ratification for MTA Capital Construction in the amount of $1.2 million. The committee recommends these ratifications, and I move them.
Second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
And this concludes the Transit and Bus Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Ferrer. The Metro North Committee report from Mr. Sador.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. The Metro North Committee met Monday and reports the following. There are 3 procurement items in a total amount of $5.8 million. There are no non-competitive procurements. There are 3 competitive procurements in the amount of $5.8 million. The committee recommends these procurements, and I move them.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
There are no ratification. This concludes the report of the Metro North Committee.
Thank you. Mr. Pally will now deliver the report for the Long Island Committee.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. The Long Island Railroad Committee met and this month and reports the following. There is 1 action item for board approval. This action item approves the restoration of weekend and holiday service on the West Hempstead branch. The committee recommends this action item, and I move it.
Second. Any comments or questions?
I just had a question.
Yes.
It says the cost was part of the July financial plan. What was the cost?
I think $3 million. I thought it was.
You know, Pat? No, what happens is the July financial plan, we put forward all the proposed changes for the upcoming year, and then as they come in, I'll get you the number. I don't know the number off the top. I don't know
Do we
the
have
number
like
off the
an
top
order
my
of
head.
magnitude?
It was like, I thought it was like $300,000 or something like that. It was less than $1 million.
Okay, I think just,
Yeah.
no, it's just good if we're voting on it to know what the,
Sure.
what the number is.
We will
Thanks.
get you the number.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Aye.
There are 7 procurement items in the total amount of $56 million. There are 2 non-competitive procurements in the amount of $270,000. The committee recommends these procurements, and I move them.
Second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
There are 4 competitive procurements, 3 for Long Island Railroad in the amount of $27 million, and 1 for MTA Capital Construction in the total amount of $26.7 million. The committee recommends these procurements, and I move them.
Second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
There is 1 ratification for MTA Capital Construction in the total amount of $2.1 million. The committee recommends this procurement, and I move it.
Second.
Second.
Comments, questions? All in favor? Aye.
And this concludes the report of the Long Island Railroad Committee.
Before Mr. Alan Capelli gives the report on the Bridges and Tunnels Committee, there were some questions raised by Mr. Ballin, possibly by some other board members, regarding a memorandum of understanding that Bridges and Tunnels needs to have with the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. And those questions were raised on Monday. We were unable to get an answer to Jonathan and other board members regarding those questions. So I've asked that that item be laid over until next month so that we can get those answers. They revolve around the issue of the removal of trees and the reimbursement of the cost of those in terms of replacement trees, and we're going to sit down with the Department of Parks and Recreation and provide that information. So with that exception, Mr. Cabelli, could you give the report? Yes, Mr. Ballin?
Tom, I just want to thank you for those comments, and I look forward to working with you to find a reasonable and fair solution that could balance the need to preserve trees with the realities of our mission and our fiscal situation. So I thank you very much for undertaking that postponement and for committing to looking into the details and trying to work toward a resolution. Thank you.
Sure. And we will get the answer to you and the other board members. Mr. Capelli?
Mr. Chairman, our Bridges and Tunnels Committee met this month and report the following. There were 2 action items for board approval. The first you just mentioned, which we were tabling till the November meeting of the board. The second action item is to approve 2 agreements for access to railroad property required to perform construction projects. The committee recommends these action items, and I move them.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
There are 6 procurements in the total amount of $14.5 million. There are no non-competitive procurements. The 6 competitive procurements in the total amount of $14.5 million. The committee recommends these procurements, and I move them.
Second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
There are no ratifications, and this concludes Bridges and Tunnels report.
Thank you, Mr. Capelli. I would now like to go into executive session pursuant to Section 105, subset 1E of the New York State Public Officers Law for matters related to collective negotiations. May I have a motion? Second. All in favor? Aye. If we could clear the room, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, MTA Chairman and CEO Tom Prendergast.
Good morning, everyone.
Questions? Please use the mic, remember, for those watching at home. Kate?
I'm curious about next month's fare hike hearings. How many do you expect to hold? Do you know when they're going to be? And what are you expecting in terms of a number on the fare hikes? What are you going to present?
We're going to notice the fare hikes. We're going to follow the process and procedure. We need to do the notice the fare hearings. We're going to notice the fare hearings, I believe, in the next 2 weeks so that we can hold them and follow the process that we normally follow. So we hold fare hearings across the network. We complete those, summarize those comments, provide them to the board. There's a board discussion, and then we bring forward prior to when we would affect the change, the recommended changes on fares and tolls. And that's as much as I can tell you, because that's as much as the dialogue has gotten so far.
So no percentage, no...
Well, in the financial plan, if we go back to the July, mid-year forecast, we were projecting still biannual fare increases and living within the 2% per year cost of living. So it'd be 4%. Living within that.
Dan?
Thanks. I had a technical question about the fare hikes. That they're baked into the financial plan. The 4%, I mean, what does that represent? Is that 4% of the revenue you want to bring in? And if you beat projections, is it possible that maybe fares don't go up 4%?
Well, prior to my being chairman, it was basically since 2009 when we were in the middle of the financial crisis. We started, and maybe even a little bit before that, reporting on a 4-year financial plan outlook, mid-year forecast, talk about the next year's, you've heard this many times, talk about the next year's budget in November, and the board acts on it in December. And we've pretty much been on an established biannual fare and toll increase schedule. And then sometime, I believe about a year ago, we committed to live within the cost of living, which is where the 4% comes from.
But is it 4% of the revenue you anticipate from fares and tolls? Or is it
4% on an increase basis? That's what we're trying to live to.
Is it 4% of the revenues from what period? Is it 4%? Because you budgeted, there was testimony the other day that fare and revenues are coming in higher, right?
First of all, I want to stick to what I said in answer to the first question, which is we're going to notice public hearings, and there's requirements we must follow in noticing those hearings, when they will be held, and what the nature of what is being discussed and what is being considered. And I want to refer to that. For me to go any further than that is inappropriate because there haven't been discussions. We have to follow the process, and ultimately this has to follow a process where there's an interchange with the public. In the public hearing process, we're gathering that information, and we take it back to the board for vote.
Walk you through the mechanics afterwards. Andrew? Question about, excuse me, a question about the efforts last week to
track the movements of Craig Spencer, the doctor who was diagnosed with Ebola. Can you describe the process of how the MTA was mining the MetroCard data, how long it took to find out which trains he used and when, and also how would that process have been different if it was found that he was using the subway system while he was also symptomatic to whatever degree? What else would the MTA have done in a case like that?
Can't remember the exact day last week. We were being made aware that there was a person who returned, an employed Doctors Without Borders, returned to the area, and there were questions regarding what he did after he returned. Those were in the few days leading up before the press conference that was held in front of Bellevue Hospital on Thursday evening. And in those discussions, we were made aware of the specifics of Dr. Craig Spencer. And you heard that dialogue, and you heard it referred to by Dr. Mary Bassett, City Health Commissioner, as well as Howard Zucker, New York State Health Commissioner. In the process of their interviewing him when he came into the hospital, and you need to verify this with them, he readily was telling people what his movements were. He offered up his fare card. From the fare card, we can determine, where they swipe and at what time they swipe. You don't swipe on exit. So the city and the MTA were able to establish a travel history for Dr. Spencer, I believe, from the 17th on all the way up through the 22nd. The 22nd was the morning when he first exhibited high temperature syndrome symptoms, 100.3 degrees and 100.2 degrees. And that's when he notified Doctors Without Borders, and they told him to go to Bellevue. And he made that trip to Bellevue, not within the system. There was an extensive dialogue with respect to the health professionals. We're trying to be as guided as much as possible by the science of this issue. In terms of if we knew his riding history, obviously the next question is, when was he possibly contagious? And clearly, the statements that were made by Dr. Zucker and Dr. Bassett, and you can hear them, is that it was in their mind he was not contagious until he was symptomatic, and then the more symptomatic you become, the more contagious you become. And he wasn't symptomatic until, I believe, the morning of the 22nd. So that's when his riding history stopped. It had stopped before that. So that's as much as I know on that issue.
And then the follow-up question about how that would have, how the process would have changed if it was discovered that he or another theoretical person who was infected with Ebola was symptomatic while also using subway system.
That's a presupposition of something we've not gone. I believe the process would follow the process where we would be guided by the science, guided by the people who know what that contagious exposure would be and how we'd have to react to it. And that's the way it would be dealt with.
That's not planned. They don't know that yet.
Hi. I'd be interested in your response to the governor calling the capital plan bloated. Is it discouraging for you to hear something like that?
This board voted on what it is required to vote on according to New York State statute in terms of submitting the next 5-year capital program. That's a program that has by category, by project, specific line item, a delineation of the scope and size of a capital program. The board voted on that and committed it and submitted it to the Capital Program Review Board. It also tried to identify as much as possible funding sources to be able to fund the full cost of that program. So we followed the process. And we said at the time it would be the start of a dialogue. And the Capital Program Review Board, within a day or two, any one of the members can veto it because the clock runs automatically for like 90 days, and if nobody takes exception, it gets implemented. But I believe it was the New York State DOT Commissioner who vetoed it, which kind of stops the clock, so enables us to continue the dialogue. First of all, if we can only identify a little bit more than a half in funding, you got to sort the other funding issue half. But one of the first questions I think anybody would ask, I don't care if it's the governor, I don't care if it's the mayor, it could be any stakeholder, is explain to me the logic behind the size of the program. So the first ask is establish the size of the need. And so from that standpoint, we knew that that is going to be part of the dialogue, and that will be part of the dialogue.
Last question.
Word from Joe yesterday. I'm curious about your reaction to the NTSB's report. And was the failure to do the maintenance a result of spending money, or was it something different? What's your take?
Well, first of all, we heard yesterday there were 5 briefs that were submitted by the National Transportation Safety Board. Those briefs are factual summaries of their investigation of the incident. They do not include findings, conclusions, and recommendations, and that's yet to come. I believe on November 19th, the NTSB Board down in Washington will have a detailed explanation of not only what you heard and saw in the briefs, but the extension of that to findings, conclusions, and recommendations. So in some cases, we're responding to a factual summary of an incident we take no exception to. I'll go beyond that. Some of these incidents happened more than a year ago. We're almost on the 1-year anniversary of Spite and Dival, which would be December 1st. But as we got information from the NTSB, from our own Blue Ribbon Safety Committee, from TTCI, who Metro North brought in to examine their safety practices and inspection procedures, we've been taking actions. So nothing we heard yesterday from the standpoint of the NTSB briefs and the facts that they talked about, we took exception to. And in fact, we have responded to many of those issues, and their recommendations either implemented or well underway.
Preventive maintenance, though, a result of funding? They spoke to a lack of preventive maintenance. Was that because of
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I can speak as an agency head at 2 different agencies, extended over a long period of time. There's never been an issue with respect to funding that an agency head comes forward. And with respect to the maintenance practices at Metro North, it was not an issue of funding. It was other issues related to management and not focusing on the basics.
How about a quick ridership?
A ridership question. $6 million, it certainly is remarkable. 5 times in September. It's remarkable. It's also troubling. It's a hassle if you're standing and you're waiting for the train to go by. Have we reached a certain peak capacity within the system? Does that even exist? Like there's a number of what it might be unable to handle?
I'll give you some data points and it'll help frame the discussion. 5 times in the month of September, we exceeded 6 million people on the subway. Highest level of ridership since World War II. We've seen a steady increase in ridership on the subway, especially when we first started our capital improvement program in 1982, but especially after the advent of MetroCard. Much of the increase is in the middle of the day, weekends and evenings, where we have capacity. There's been some increase during the rush. The first place where we're going to see a crush, literally and figuratively, is in the rush hour. And so we do need to be able to respond to that. So, even in the dialogue, switching over to another subject of the start of the dialogue on the capital program, and people are saying, how can you do expansion when you got state of good repair? It's because if we don't do expansion and we don't continue 2nd Avenue and get it completed, the #1 ridership line in the country is the Lexington Avenue line. So we need to relieve some of that congestion and some of that pressure. 2nd Avenue will do that. So we'll go down that path and we'll continue to do those things. The other thing is communication-based train control, because you can run more trains per hour and actually, deal with increasing passenger loads. But the majority of the growth has been on weekends, nights, and middle of the day where there is capacity. We need to stay ahead of that curve. We don't want to be in a position where we are vastly undersized in terms of capacity and rush hour. That's why important projects like 2nd Avenue need to go forward.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.